expected in Vladimir Putin's speech today. Shravan, stay with us. I'm told we also have breaking news coming in that the Russian foreign minister, that is Sergei Lavrov, has said that Vladimir Putin is not as such opposed to a sit-down meeting, but right now it would be of little value. That is the breaking update that we're getting right now from the Russian side. Remember, Volodymyr Zelenskyy has said that he is open to Ukraine's neutrality, but he wants to have face-to-face talks. Let's just bring you that breaking update now while Shravan remains with us. Viewers, this is the breaking we're talking about. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says that Vladimir Putin has never turned down a meeting with Volodymyr Zelenskyy, but now at this point a meeting to exchange views would be counterproductive. That is the Russian side now speaking on the specific topic of Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelenskyy holding talks between the two of them. Personally, Shravan, if you're still with us, I want to take this to you and I want to ask you, could the meeting that is to be held in Turkey between the two sides maybe create a scenario where it is not counterproductive, where they have an agreement on which in principle they could have a discussion? Shravan.
Well, there is very little so far to back all that has been claimed by Russia, or even for that matter the Ukrainians, because we have seen this sort of a narrative that was built a few weeks ago when in fact we did the first interview with the deputy head of President Zelenskyy's office, who had first indicated that right now they're looking forward to some sort of a face-to-face meeting between Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelenskyy. That hasn't happened so far. The reason being is that they say that the negotiations that are taking place, the track 2 negotiations that are basically taking place, hasn't yielded much result. And that's where the problem lies, because there is nothing very concrete or very tangible when it comes to these negotiations. And that becomes the problem. If there isn't anything very tangible, if there isn't anything concrete in terms of what's going to be discussed or what is going to be signed between both sides, then this entire talk of both the leaders coming together will perhaps not yield much result, because right now both sides have to agree on certain conditions, and you've seen what Russia has essentially indicated. One, they said that there is no question of them accepting a scenario when Ukraine is going to align with anyone. Neutrality is something that they are looking forward to. Second, they're basically saying there is no question of any of the NATO troops entering the Ukrainian soil, coming closer to Russia. Third, they're talking about Crimea, the autonomous region of Crimea. That's what Ukraine calls it. Ukraine calls it the autonomous region of Crimea. They're saying that Russia wants Ukraine to accept that Crimea is a Russian territory. And then you come to LPR and DPR. That's basically the Donbas region, where Russia wants Ukraine to recognize that this is a Russian, their independence should be recognized by Ukrainians. As far as the Ukrainians are concerned, there are only two things that they have agreed so far. They're saying they are okay with a neutral status. And secondly, they are saying with regards to a security guarantee, if it is given by Russia and other countries, they want Israel to also step in and give that guarantee that, they're going to remain neutral, but they cannot face another situation of this nature. So that is something that perhaps Ukraine has made it very clear. What is it that they are not agreeing? They are not agreeing to a situation where they are going to recognize Crimea to begin with. Then with regards to LPR and DPR, they're saying that we are not going to cede any inch of their own territory. Keeping that in mind, you are once again looking at a situation where both sides are not agreeing to, or they're not coming on the same page. With that in the backdrop, perhaps when both the sides, if they do not come and if they do not meet, remember, the situation is going to be in a limbo. That's exactly what's happening. We're looking at a stalemate kind of a situation where perhaps the bombings and everything, that is the missile strikes that are taking place, Ankit, it is most of it's now being launched from the Black Sea region. They're targeting few areas, but it isn't with the in the same intensity that it was, say, perhaps a few days ago. Because right now the focus seems to have changed as far as the Russian troops are concerned. They have realized their weak point, that is their ground offensive or their urban warfare isn't very strong, and they have been countered by the Ukrainians to a great extent. Where lies their strength? The Russians have been very, very aggressive when it comes to their air assault. They've been very successful in doing so. And let's also look at a few numbers, Ankit, in terms of what is it that Russia has lost so far. If you simply go by the estimate that has been put by the Ukrainians, they say that about 16,000 troops Russian troops have been killed in action. They're looking at multiple armored vehicles. They're looking at several tanks that have been destroyed by the Ukrainian army. And in fact, some of the tanks have been captured by the Ukrainians at this point in time. On the other hand, Russians haven't really spoken about the numbers that the Ukrainians have lost so far. There has been very little information that has come from the Russian side in terms of their tangible success on the ground, or their strategy that has really worked at this point. That is not really known at this stage. And for Russia, it's going to be very important that they somehow make it look like a victory, because if that happens, perhaps you're going to look at some sort of a solution coming out, because at this point in time, both sides, they're not willing to blink. And it's going to remain this way unless something drastically changes on the negotiating table.
Right. Shavan there clearly raising the stakes as far as Vladimir Putin's address today is concerned, and especially with regards to what has been going on with the diplomatic development.